Hi everybody, this is Carol from Practical Mystic, and as always, so glad you joined me today. I would like to wish everyone a very safe and happy Halloween. And this video today is going to be a little different. We're going to talk about numerology. As many of you know, numerology is kind of another tool for self-divination, self-awareness. We learn a lot of information from our date of birth and the name that we were given on our birth certificate. We know that the name in numerology is converted into numbers, and we're going to discuss that a little bit today. And that there are consonants and vowels, and that is so important in numerology to understand. But before I go there, when I teach numerology, a lot of people raise their hand and saying, tell us how the English language obtained vowels when the Hebrew alphabet was comprised only of consonants. And my answer relays back to studying the Jewish Kabbalah, especially the Tetragrammaton, as well as that the energy of vowels were active principles, and those active principles were hidden because of their potentiality, so we say. And it wasn't until the Romans obtained the alphabets from the Greek that the Romans then gave a differentiation of the alphabets. Of course, there was 26 in the English language. There's 22 in the Hebrew Kabbalah. And the Romans are credited for putting the vowels, the beginning part of putting the vowels for us to differentiate. So, upon saying that in numerology, the consonants are considered to be the outer personality, and the vowels are considered to be your hidden self, your inner self, as well as your soul. So today, I want to focus on what is considered to be the most powerful, significant vowel in your name, and that is in your first name. We're going to look at that today. We're going to look at the vowel, we're going to look at your name, and then we're going to discuss the essence and the power that you have within you, ready to be tapped. But it's not that cut and dry as anything that we learn when it comes to understanding ancient knowledge. The full understanding of this force, this potentiality, is either going to be enhanced or depleted by the consonant preceding the first vowel. And I'm trying to and will try to make it very simple for you by giving you explanations of what that means. So let me repeat that. We're going to look at the first vowel in our name, but we also have to take into consideration when we are deciding its potential, whether or not it's going to be enhanced or depleted by the consonant preceding it. Of course, my name, I do have a consonant preceding my first vowel, and that is a C. But for the name Emily or Irene or Eunice, their names begin with a vowel. So what that means is they have the full potential of the energy of that vowel. It is not amplified and it's not depleted by a consonant preceding it. Now, Eunice has a double vowel. We have E, which vibrates to a 5, and a U, which vibrates to a 3. And this name is basically resonates to a soul essence, and the person with this name, this lifetime, can have a very heavy burden or is blessed and again, depending on how the rest of the letters in the full name as well as the date of birth set up in the chart, can really make headway this lifetime and be a spiritual example for many, many people. If you add up the 5 of the E and the 3 of the U, you get the number 8. And number 8 is very strong. It resonates to the planet Saturn. So there's karma that can be burned, or there's good karma that is coming back with you. So it's a fascinating way to look at that. Now, for example here, looking at the first vowel for names like Sharon, Philip, Charlie, Thomas, and Stephen, you have 2 consonants preceding the first vowel. Again, the one closest to the vowel is going to hold the most energy, the most importance, the most influence. And here in Sharon, Philip, Charlie, and Thomas, it is the letter H. The letter H resonates, it is to the number 8. As I just said earlier, 8 is Saturn. So the people with a double consonants, you have to take in consideration the first consonant and that energy, and then less so the next preceding consonant, which is an S here, P, C, T. Understand the qualities of those letters and numbers, and then go forward. Okay, so I'm hoping that helps out a lot. Now, most of you tuning in most likely have a knowledge of the 4 basic elements and even the 5th. But in alchemy, and what we're going to discuss today, and in mysticism, there are 5 elements, also 5 cosmic forces. And all vibration in these 5 forms or elements emanate. So we need to cover this. Now, with that said, it's very helpful to know which of these forces are attributed to the vowel in your name, and we're going to discuss that today. This is really just a thumbnail of what the qualities of the elements are, but it gives you a jumping off period. So most of us know the 4 elements from the tarot contributed and corresponding to the 4 suits. Air is mental, it's cooperative, but it's nervous, it's quick, and can be aloof. Fire is strong, active, courageous, has authority, but it could be also imposing. Water is sensitive, understanding, psychic, but it also can be indulgent. And earth is stable, self-aware, productive, but it can also be empathic. The 5th element is ether. It's also known as spirit and light, and it is the substance from which all others are created. It is known as the spiritual aspect of life that influences all the other 4 elements. So ether has within it all the others, and it influences the basic 4 that most of us are aware of. So let's get ready to kind of see your name and the energy of that element contributed to it. So that's what we're going to discuss today. So here are our vowels. We know our vowels, and let me put this out here, are A, E, I, O, U, and Y. Let's put these right here. Okay, so the first vowel, A, is mental, and it resonates to the number 1 in numerology, and this is, A is the vowel that is the element ether is corresponding to, is earmarked for. And as I said earlier, it is also known as light, and just recently I've heard it known as spirit. Astrologically, I'm also going to cover that today. A, and if the first letter in your name begins with an A, as mine does, you also have a great amount of influence of the sun and the planet Uranus. The qualities are the higher mind and a bridge. Now, why do I say bridge? In numerology, we look at the letters and their shapes to help us interpret their meaning. A is a bridge because if we look at it here, number one, you have a guard here or a step here, whatever you want to call it, that differentiates the top part of the letter and the bottom part of the letter. And the ancient mystics looked at the letter A as the energy of the God force coming down and dissipating itself into the earth. So it is a link between what is above and what is below, okay? So the A qualities, or the individual that has the vowel A in their name, is they are a pioneer with a creative mind, loves new ideas and concepts. The A is self-motivating and may not easily follow others' advice. Remember, they resonate to the number one. The energies are at their best when grounded, okay? Which again, the letter depicts to be really centered, to really be grounded. The stabilizing forces of vowel A comes from the knowledge of truth. As the first vowel in a name, it adds strength of character, leadership qualities, and mental agility. Now, the lessons are part of the understanding also of the forces, the power that is innate in you. The lessons of the A is avoid being fixed with personal ideas. There's a tendency to be scattered, easily hurt. You can be a pushover and egotistical. Learn to think through opposing views and sidestep knee-jerk reactions, okay? All right, the vowel E is considered physical. The number attributed to the vowel E is number 5. The element is air. The planets are Mercury. The zodiac signs that are attributed to the 4 main elements are as followed, and we will discuss that. But we notice for ether, it is all of the 12 zodiac signs. So for E, we also look at the zodiac signs Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius because they are air signs. As far as the quality and the power of the vowel E in someone's first name as their first vowel is universal consciousness. So what's most important to the E is growth and freedom of expression. The energy is always changing. So is the mind and activity of the name with a first vowel E. The energy is self-transforming. What one does with the intuitive or psychic impulses that this vowel generates determine what state of transformation. Okay. Looking at the vowel E, it is electrifying, okay? It gives out energy. It is open like air. It receives. It wants to know. It's a chatterbox. It's full of E energy. If you look at the way it is shaped, you could say this is the head, these are the arms, and these are the feet, and it's always taking in, it's always wanting. And hopefully that helps you also understand that vibration. So what's the lesson? must channel this energy constructively for humanity's progress and not just to satisfy the restless urges within them. Control of sexual forces. The key is to find direction in one's life and have the discipline to follow and heed the vast storehouse of universal energy. Now I'm pushing this up because I am hoping you can see this on the monitor. I think earlier you could not. So to reiterate, the E really is a very physical, electrical, excitable energy. It's constantly moving. And your potentiality is to harness that power, that energy, that psychic awareness, and transform it into something that is useful for humanity and yourself. All right, the next set of vowels are going to be the I. The I is intuitive. The number that it vibrates under is 9. The element is fire. And the planet is Mars. The zodiac sign attributed to the I vowel vibration are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, because those are our fire signs. The qualities of the vowel I are intense and empathetic. So the valve is said to have the capacity to link heart and mind. The spirit and energy of this valve is dual. It can be inspiring and uplifting or indifference and negative. Those of you who have this I as the first vowel in your name, I understand it's not that easy to temper sometimes. It is very intuitive with a natural connection to the cosmic world. The energy can be directed to the healing arts, laying of the hands. These you are very sensitive to touch, to words, to sounds. It's like an electrical grounding rod. Those having I as the first vowel in their name must stand behind their convictions and declare to others the power of compassion, because many of you are healers. So what's the lesson of those who have a I as the first vowel in their first name? Balancing the dualistic tendencies within them. They're either selfless or selfish, controlling and resistance to change. They could be self-indulgence, tendency to have distractive nervous energy. Personally detaching from outcome. It's very hard for them not to feel responsible or to feel depleted when things don't turn out the way they wish they did or work so hard to obtain. Now the next vowel is the O, and it is emotional. The number that it resonates to and is given in numerology is the number 6. The element is water, and there are 2 planets, Venus and Saturn. The zodiac signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Of course, they are water signs. And the qualities of the individual with the O vowel is balance and justice. They are said to be natural counselors, a vibration that seeks harmony and higher understanding of universal laws. The vowel protects, takes in, often assuming responsibility for others. Those with O as the first vowel in their name seek stability and spirituality. They are drawn to the mystical and strive to emanate what they've learned. The lesson, said to be here to balance out past lives. They must draw upon what they learn in order to serve, teach, and assist others on the path. They must guard against being too slow to change and or take action. There is a fear of failure and criticism, important to avoid ways of escaping reality. Okay, looking at the shape of the O, it is movable, and if it gets kicked around, depending on the strength of that jolt, that trauma, the O can just keep spinning its wheels and being unproductive for a long period of time. Even the number attributed to the letter O, number 6, is on a rocker, and it moves back and forth, so it vacillates. So the O has to get centered, because water can sometimes drown in whatever, however it is influenced, and however it is being taken form. And that is, and it also protects. It is the cosmic egg. The O is very spiritual, but it has to be careful of what it learns, what it takes in, what it believes, and what it does with that information. All right, the next set of vowels is the U, and the U is emotional. It vibrates to the number 3. Its element is Earth. Its planet is Venus and Jupiter. The astrological signs that are Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The qualities for those who have the U as the first vowel in their first name is comprehension and reliability. U takes this cosmic energy of above and brings it into the earth. And look at that. It just reaches upward and takes in that universal energy, that cosmic force, that spirit, and brings it down on both sides to the earth plane, if you will. It is a self-expressive letter that seeks long-lasting relationships. It almost wants to cradle everything, hold it together. It is conservative in nature. It seeks to preserve and utilize resources constructively. It is a natural communicator. It is artistic in word and the arts. Those with a U as a first vowel in their name are protective, fruitful, artistic, and loving. What's the lesson for the U? It must keep an open mind and not be set in their ways. A tendency to resist change in thought, beliefs, and actions, must guard against becoming a dumping ground for others who may use them for self-serving purposes, like a container. Here, take this. Would you hold that? Would you do this for me? And it becomes inundated with other people's problems, their own problems, and they don't know what to do with them. Have difficulty detaching from others, a tendency to enable due to its emotional ties, because the U is all about helping, shoring up, and being compassionate. Our last vowel is sometimes Y. Okay, now Pythagoras felt that the letter Y was dual in nature, used both as a consonant and a vowel, said to be a mysterious letter. Also, Y does not have a corresponding element attributed to it. And it was the Romans who took the Y and made it sound like an I. So many numerology books have specific rules on how to use the letter Y. All agree it has a multifaceted vibration. Some believe it is a heavy karmic letter. Now, that doesn't mean bad karma. That could be good karma or bad karma. If you look at the shape of a Y, and Pythagoras kind of had different ways of looking at this as well. You can look at this as a dualistic, the polarities of right male, female on the left, and coming together in one spirit. Okay? Pythagoras also said that in youth, that the individual, when it hit puberty, adulthood, came to a fork in the road, and at that time decided whether it was going to take which path. The materialistic path, which is quite easier, and if you look at some of the letters, the path on the left side, again reverse, seemed to be larger, and the path on the right was a narrow path. So there's a spiritual path, and then there's a materialistic path, and those with the Y as their vowel have a choice to take. Okay, and here is additional information that we will talk about today for those with a Y. It vibrates to the number 7. It is intuitive. The planets are Venus, Mars, and Neptune. That is a great amount of energy and influence. All kind of being opposite. Venus is sensual, loving. Mars is active, can be warlike, can be quick, and Neptune can be illusionary and confusing, as well as wonderfully higher mind. As far as the qualities, logical, spiritual, and mystical. The person with the Y as the first vowel in their name is said to have both logical and intuitive knowing. Privacy is important to this individual, need and enjoys solitude. What I like to say to my clients when I see a lot of Y's in their name, or the date of birth has a lot of 7s, is you need to unplug and go home and plug into your battery. Your battery is doing what you love to do, recharging yourself. That's very important for the person with Y energy. They are naturally psychic, but unlikely to share all they know. They seek stability, which is not always easy, as they tend to shy away from large crowds and things that they have no interest in. They can easily fall down. They can be top heavy, and they need to have a grounding stability. That's why I mean they need to plug in to feel grounded. Decision making is not always easy for them. The key to balance this aspect of their personality is to listen to their inner voice. Their inner voice. The ancient schools link this letter to prophecy. The letter's shape indicates the connection to higher realms, as well as linking both the male and female polar energies. The V, the upper letter, stands for the female, and the I, vertical line below it, male, and it is a representation of transmutation. The lesson for the Y: learning to express their thoughts, beliefs, and feelings openly and honestly. Must cultivate good judgment in choosing friends and lovers. A tendency to limit self or be held bondage by others or their past. A tendency to get lost in illusions which have no truth or validation. That is it for me today. I hope this wasn't too long. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. I hope this was empowering for you. And as always, I enjoy doing this. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.